And it's that time of the day again, feeding the tigers. I've already started, gave them each about 2 kilograms already, and they're getting some more. They tend to enjoy this way of getting fed these days. The kittens as well. Still a little bit frosted, not really frosted, just a bit cold. I'd say about 4 degrees C. That's actually when water turns to ice. It's on exactly on 4 degrees C. That's when it's at its biggest form. So that's an interesting fact. A lot of people ask me, what do I actually do? What am I qualified to do? And things like that. And I went to college and I took some technical subjects, fluid mechanics. For instance, that's why I know a lot about heat and cold and power machines. One of the subjects I did, strengths of materials, Meccano techniques. It's a couple of subjects that I actually took in college. I did really well in college. Got out of school. I wasn't very clever in school. And when I walked into the college at age 15, I actually became really, well, smart. So I went from just making it through school to getting A's or distinctions in college. So that was great. I loved it. I think if you apply pressure, too much pressure, to certain individuals, they tend to underperform. And if you give them a little bit of space, they overperform. And with other people, it's vice versa. So, yeah, that's just a little bit more about myself. Went to college, and then I started an apprenticeship as a fitter and turner, working on the machines. Some people have seen the machines here by my house. I do have 2 lathes, milling machine, a couple of other machines that I can manufacture basically any part. One thing about South Africa, parts are not always available. It is actually, it's quite good, but sometimes there's just that certain part that you can't find for a car or anything, and then you have to be able to manufacture it. So something that I will always be able to do is to manufacture something. And when other people just look at it and they think, why is it not available? I'm already working out what is the material I have to buy and how will I be able to manufacture it. So that's one thing I've learned years ago, and I'll always have that. I see that as a great advantage in life, the technical side of having the ability to manufacture anything. I went after I qualified with I got my papers to be an artisan. I actually stopped working. I was just not being paid enough. I couldn't make it to work and back. It was too expensive to drive to work and back. The petrol, the maintenance on the car, things like that, it was just too much. They were not paying me enough to get to work and back. It's about 25 kilometers from my house back then. And I decided to quit my job, stay at home, start a business from home. That's exactly what I did. Started working on cars. And it was good because I did not need to do the traveling. So saving on the traveling actually gave me an advantage. Didn't make much money, but whatever I made it. And I actually started doing a lot of fiberglass work. It was something that I was interested in because I wanted to make cars fast and I wanted to make them look good. So I loved doing it. And that's what I did. So after a couple of years, I did quite good, especially on the BMWs. Those days they had the IS kit that was installed on them, and I made those IS kits. And then after a while I got my first Porsche 911, and that's something that Porsche is something that's been a highlight in my life, because what people don't realize, I was born on 9/11, and the ultimate Porsche was the 1974, and I was also born in the year 1974, 9/11. So that had quite an impact on me, to know that that is what I've got. And worked from my house, and eventually the economy went down. I was doing okay, but the others in my family weren't, and people were starting losing things, and we actually lost our house and we were forced to move. We did. It wasn't a good time. I still had my Porsche. Could go out at night, and I believe youngsters should be able to go out, have some fun, forget about all the bad things, come back later and work. And that's what I did. Went out to nightclubs and had a great time there. I was able to take it easy. I wasn't one of those guys that went overboard with it. So I went out, had a lot of fun all through the 90s, and yeah, all the American music and English music came out. We grew up with it. I have to say that there was a time that you actually forgot that you were living in South Africa, because we had everything everybody else had, I suppose, and we were feeling like we were Americans, speaking Afrikaans. Because when we switch on the TV, there was American TV shows on. It was great. We loved it. And yeah, so it's a bit more of my life back then. I had a girlfriend. We split up later, and I met Jackie at one of those nightclubs many years ago, and we didn't get together at first, but later we did, and we've been together ever since. For the last 14 years we've been together. So yeah, and then slowly start not doing the nightclub thing anymore, getting tigers, and then your nightclub life stops. I actually want to show people my collection of clothes one of these days, and it's not like they collection clothes, my actual clothes from the 80s and the 90s, what we used to wear, and I kept it. I looked after my things very well, and yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff that I can still show on these videos, and I will. Working on the cars, on the Porsche 911s, I specialized in that. After a while I was quite good on them. Everybody was bringing them to me. I was keeping them going. Bought a manual, read through it, and I worked on my own, learned how it works, and I was able to have something to fall back on. I never wanted to work as a fitter and turner again, because it was, I went in there 6 o'clock at night, it's dark, come out 6 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark. It wasn't nice, you know. It took over your whole life. You don't see the outside. I was working very, very hard, and I wasn't being paid well. I was being paid the bare minimum. I think it was like 6 rand an hour. That's like 40 US cents an hour. And I was working very hard. I was working from 6 to 6. That was night shift or day shift, whatever came first. And Saturday, Sunday, you name it. And eventually I decided, that's it. Cannot live like this. I can't even though I work like that, can't even afford to get to work and back. And I had to make a move. I had to stop it. And my dad was working at the same company, but he was a computer programmer. He was actually one of the first computer programmers ever. So yeah, he was doing all the CNC machining programs, and he did very good on it. And they liked him there. They needed him. He was doing very well, and he stayed there after I gone. So, but he is a fitter and turner by trade. He still lives here with me. My mom and my dad lives with me. Not right in the main house, but I converted a part of the house so they live there. They are getting old, also pushing the 70s, but they enjoy it, and they're actually more retired now because they don't really work anymore. But they did look after me very well, so I will be looking after them. And Diego's got a beautiful shape. I only noticed it now as I was standing here looking at him. And yeah, so my girlfriend lives here with me also for the last about 13 years. And we're not married, but I think what people need to realize, you don't always need a contract in your life. Sometimes someone's word is good enough. And like me and Enzo, there's no piece of paper that tells or that says that he's not going to bite me, and there's no piece of paper that says I have to feed him. It's a mutual agreement that we've got with one another, and I want to feed him every night, and I want him to be happy, and Diego, and all these animals for that sake. And I think they also tend to like me. So yeah, that's a little bit of thought. I think people that's gone too far into paperwork has missed the point, because then it means you've got no trust, and if you've got no trust, you've got nothing. He's gonna get up there. Yeah, that's just a little bit more about myself. What else is there? Let me think. Yeah, I think I should actually stop right there. The animal thing, I've always had the animals. Slowly it snowballed. I never expected to get the ultimate predator to come and live with me. But then I have to say, I've always been someone who just picked up stray dogs, and I never cared if they are pedigree or if they are what kind of a dog or what kind of a cat or what the color of the cat or the color of the dog or whatever is. I never cared about that. I took them in because they needed me to take them in, and that's how I know myself. I know myself very well. And yeah, so I always thought, why did I get these perfect tigers? And I sometimes see it as a reward. I think because that's my how I am, I was rewarded by having the most perfect animals in the world. Because if I look at Enzo there now, that there is the most perfect animal that has walked the face of this earth. Look at that. And I'm not only talking about tigers as a species, I'm talking about himself. I think he's the most perfect animal ever to live. And Diego also, no disrespect towards Diego, he's just a little bit funny as well in that same sense, so which makes him probably even better. But yeah, think about that. And that was not something that I was going for, so I see it as a reward. And these cats as well, absolutely perfect once you are able to see the perfection in an animal like this. There they go. Then you gain a lot in life by just realizing how perfect they are. Well, thanks a lot for listening. Hope you guys have a great evening and speak to you soon.